Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Welcome to another episode of the Swat Kasharpi channel. My name is Priest Brother Tuabra Khan, and I have reading for me in the background.
Priest my shot.
Right, Khan. So today's doctrine, okay, that we'll be cutting, or at least attempting to cut, will be the doctrine that's being taught out there by certain Israelites as well as certain Gentiles out there, okay, that are teaching that according to the Bible or quote-unquote history, that Job in the Bible, okay, certain men are saying that, number one, he was an Edomite, and then number two, certain men are saying that he was an Israelite. So through the Spirit of Most High and His beloved Son Christ, me and a brother Mashah through the Spirit will be cutting this doctrine according to biblical scripture, okay, and give you a basic understanding of the history concerning the land region of quote-unquote the land of Uz, okay, according to the scriptures and according to the geographical location of such land of Uz. All right, so the very first scripture that we'll be going into will be the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 3, okay, because there is a doctrine being taught out here, okay, that Job was an Edomite, okay, or certain men saying that Job was an Israelite. Even certain men are going so far as to say that he was from the tribe of Issachar and things of that sort, but yet it's not in the scriptures what these men are saying. So therefore, we're going to bring it out the script according to scriptures concerning who Job was according to the Bible. To read the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 3, brother.
Job, chapter 1, verse 3.
Read.
His substance also was 7,000 sheep.
So now, Job's substance was like 7,000 sheep, okay, according to the scripture here. Read.
And 3,000 camels.
Read.
And 500 yoke of oxen.
Read.
And 500 she-asses.
Read.
And a very great household.
Read on.
So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east.
So now, the scripture said that Job was the greatest of all the men of the east. So basically, the Bible right here, the author is classifying Job in the same category as the men of the east, as far as to state that Job was the richest man, okay, concerning his riches and how great he was and the abundance and substance that he possessed and owned. Now, when you go to the Hebrew, on the men of the east, when you check out in the Hebrew, it's Bun Quadam. Okay, Bun meaning son, and Quadam is how you say east in Hebrew, Bun Quadam, which means sons of the east. That's how it's translated. When you go into the Hebrew in the book of Job, it's translated sons of the east. So when the translators looked at that, they translated it into men of the east, because basically Job was a man, and this is in dealings with men concerning the riches and abundance that Job had. But the translators translated it from the original Hebrew, which said sons of the east, one Quadam. Okay, so now hold that. Give me Genesis chapter 29, verse 1, and dealing with Job being of the sons of the east. Okay, who are the sons of the east according to the Bible? Okay, we're going to bring it out. Okay, because that's who Job's nationality was. That's who he was amongst from. Okay, give me the book of Genesis chapter 29, verse 1.
Genesis 29:1.
Read.
Then Jacob went on his journey.
So the scripture said Jacob went on his journey. Read.
And came into the land of the people of the east.
The scripture said when Jacob went on his journey, okay, he, as was commanded by his father Isaac, when he went on his journey, he came into the land of the people of the east. Now, when you go into the Hebrew, when it says people of the east, it's translated Bun Quadam, the same thing, sons of the east. Okay, when you go into the Hebrew, all right? So when you go into the Hebrew, it's read and came into the land of the sons of the east. Okay, but the translators put people because of the great multitude that was in that land region that Jacob went and traveled. So when you go into the Hebrew, it's translated Bun Quadam, which means sons of the east. Now keep that in mind. The scripture said Jacob went into the people of the east, okay, which is translated sons of the east in the Hebrew. Hold that. Give me the book of Hosea chapter. Matter of fact, drop Genesis 29. Give me Hosea chapter 12, verse 12. Okay, let's get the understanding concerning the sons of the east, or the people of the east, or the men of the east. Okay, because Jacob went out there, right? So who is those people? Give me the book of Hosea. Okay, chapter 12, verse 12. Read what you got, brother.
Hosea 12:12. And Jacob fled into the country of Syria.
The scripture said Jacob fled into the country of Syria. Now, but when you go back to Genesis, okay, the 29th chapter, it said the people of the east. But now we get the understanding through the precepts that the people of the east is referring to the Syrians, okay, or Syria. Read.
And Israel served for a wife.
Right, because when Jacob was going to the people of the east, his father Isaac told him to go there to get a wife. You understand? And to serve his one of his relatives, I think his name was Laban. And the scripture said Jacob served there for a wife. So it was in the land of Syria that Jacob went to serve for a wife, because he worked for Laban for a certain dispensation of time to possess Rachel. Okay, which you can read that story on your own concerning Laban. All right, so the scripture said that he went into the country of Syria, which was in the east. Okay, and Israel, which is Jacob, served for a wife. Read.
And for a wife, he kept sheep.
The Lord said for a wife, he kept sheep. So now when you go back to Genesis chapter 29, verse 1, let's go back to that. Salakia, I should have told you to hold that. But when you go back to Genesis chapter 29, verse 1, okay, read what you got up.
Then Jacob went on his journey.
Read.
And came into the land of the people of the east.
Right, so it says people of the east. But we just read in Hosea chapter 12, verse 12, that Jacob went into the land of Syria. So the Syrians were part of the people of the east, so we get the understanding of the scripture. Okay, go to Genesis chapter 28, verse 1.
Genesis 28 and 1.
Read.
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Right, so Isaac already told Jacob, don't take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. All right, so this is what Isaac, his father, told him to do. Read.
Arise, go to Pandaram.
Right, Paddan Aram. Now, when you get to understanding, Paddan Aram is Syria. Okay, Paddan Aram represents the land of Aram. Aram, okay, was the father of all so-called Syrians, okay, in the scriptures. When you read it, Aram is Syria. We're going to further prove that later on in the show. It says, arise, go to Paddan Aram, which is the land of Syria. Read.
Arise, go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father.
Right, meaning that his mother's father, his Rebecca, okay, Rebecca's father. Read.
And take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
So when you get to understand it, Laban was like his uncle. You understand? And Bethuel, okay, we get to understand it, was I believe that was Abraham's nephew, right, or great nephew, something like that. We're going to give further understanding of it as we go later on through the show. But the bottom line, you had Hebrews dwelling in the land of Syria at this time. The people of the east and where Jacob went to sojourn was Aram's land. But you had not Israelites, but you had Hebrews. Let's get to understand there's a difference between Israelites and Hebrews. Okay, Hebrews represent anybody that basically come out of Eber, okay, which was one of the sons of Shem. Okay, but just because you come out of that lineage does not automatically make you an Israelite. Israelite is somebody who comes out of Jacob. To be frank with you, Ishmael is a Hebrew. Okay, to be frank with you, Esau is a Hebrew.
Right.
Okay, to be frank with you, so basically anybody that comes out of that lineage of Shem and Eber will consider to be Hebrews. But later on throughout history, the Israelites will be especially the land of Egypt, the Israelites will be known to be as classified as Hebrews as a nationality. But technically speaking, anybody that come out that seed lineage of Eber all the way down until Isaac, okay, was considered to be Hebrew. So there was Hebrews that was already in the land region of Syria at the time that Jacob went out there to get himself a wife. Because we know that Rachel was a Hebrew. Remember, the Israelites were not formed yet. The Israelites represent anybody that come out of Jacob and his 12 sons. You understand? So before Jacob had any children, there were Hebrews already, because Jacob himself was a Hebrew. There was Hebrews already there in the land of Syria. Read it again from the top, brother.
And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Right. Read.
Arise and go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father.
So when we just read in Hosea 12 and 12, hold that. Let's go back to Hosea 12 and 12. Because basically, Isaac sent his son Jacob to Paddan Aram and to get a wife. But the Bible classified where Paddan Aram was. Read what you got.
Hosea 12 and 12.
Read.
And Jacob fled into the country of Syria.
Where'd he go?
Into the country of Syria.
But in the Torah, Moses called it Paddan Aram, because Aram was a father of the Syrians. So there were Hebrews in that land region. To get to the point, read.
And Israel served for a wife.
Right, and he served for a wife. When you read the story about him and Laban, his uncle, how he had to serve amongst his cattle to get his daughter Rachel, okay, which he first got Leah. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 28, start at verse 2 now.
28 and 2.
Read.
Arise and go to Paddan Aram.
Read.
To the house of Bethuel.
Right.
Thy mother's father.
But when you read Genesis chapter 29, verse 1, it calls Paddan Aram and those people over there people of the east.